Hello everyone, Andy Wolverton here at Journeys in Darkness and Light, continuing the classic movie challenge created and organized by my friend Raquel Stecher over at her website outofthepast.com. For my second book in the challenge, I've chosen a novel that was the source material for a Western movie from 1967. I'm talking about Hombre by Elmore Leonard. I'll be using a few images from the film, but I'm mostly here to talk about the book. Most people familiar with Elmore Leonard remember him as a writer of crime fiction, and very good crime fiction. Yet many don't realize Leonard's early career was in writing Western short stories and novels. His 1953 short story 3:10 to Yuma was first filmed in 1957 and again in 2007. Hombre, Leonard's fifth novel, was published in 1961 and filmed in 1967. The novel tells the story of John Russell, played by Paul Newman in the film, a white man raised by Apaches. The story is a first-person narrative told by a young man named Carl Allen, who works for a stagecoach line. Carl's boss, a Mexican named Henry Mendez, played by Martin Balsam in the film, is tasked with rounding up a stagecoach for an odd assortment of people headed to Bisbee, Arizona. We have Dr. Alexander Favor, played by Frederick March in the film, an agent contracted by the government to sell beef to Indian reservations, and his wife, Audra, played by Barbara Rush in the film, who is many years younger than her husband and holds a scornful prejudice against Native Americans, particularly Russell. We also have 18-year-old Kathleen McLaren, a young lady returning to civilization after having been kidnapped and held for a month by Apaches before being rescued. And then there's Frank Braden, a man who bullies his way onto the coach for reasons unknown. Mendez is the driver, and with Carl, that makes 6 people on the coach. Everyone on the stagecoach wants something. Mendez wants something from Russell. Carl wants to impress Kathleen. Dr. Favor has urgent business to conduct, and we don't know what Braden wants, but it's imperative that he obtain a seat on the coach. And what does Russell want? He speaks only when spoken to, but each time he does, we realize he's the smartest person on this journey. It's not long before bandits force the coach to stop, and then we realize a bit more of what's happening. I won't go into details, but the passengers are forced to abandon the coach and outsmart the bandits, if they can. Again, this is told from the point of view of Carl, who has seen little of the world, including the prejudices people hold. Part of Hombre is a coming-of-age story for Carl, but the novel is also clearly about the conventions we believe in, how we think civilization should work, and how justice should be carried out. You can think of both the novel and the movie as revisionist westerns, and although a large part of the focus is on the treatment of Native Americans, Leonard had to have had the civil rights movement on his mind, since one of the major themes here is the defining of humanity. There's clearly corruption of the establishment present in this story, as well as a questioning of authority by the younger characters in the novel. Hombre is a quick read, but once you've finished, you're going to think about it for a long time, not only wondering what you would have done in the place of some of the characters, but also wondering if our world in 2022 has learned anything since the book was published. If you read the novel, then see the film, you'll find some interesting changes. Not only have names been changed, but some of the players have been modified. Kathleen is not present in the film version, but aspects of her character are given to 2 different women in the picture. This is somewhat unnecessary, but it works for the visual medium. Cinematically, this makes sense, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with the way Leonard wrote the characters in the novel originally. It's just a slightly different version. Both the film version and the book are quite good. Leonard writes in a sparse, easy style, yet builds character largely through dialogue. something he did masterfully throughout his entire career. You can find Hombre in paperback, it's still in print, or in a collection from Library of America called Elmore Leonard Westerns, which also includes Last Stand at Sabre River, adapted into a TV movie in 1997, Valdez is Coming, adapted into a 1971 film starring Burt Lancaster, 40 Lashes Less One, a novel which Quentin Tarantino owns the rights to, and 8 stories, including 3:10 to Yuma and a novella called The Captives, which was filmed as The Tall T. Bottom line, you can't go wrong with an Elmore Leonard work, Western or crime. I hope you will check out Hombre. Thanks for watching. Please consider joining me on this classic movie book reading challenge, and stay tuned. I'll have more soon.